Welcome to day 2 of NAB Show 2014. Nearly 100,000 of you have descended upon Las Vegas for a week filled with products, people, and ideas. This is NAB Show Live, coming to you from the middle of it all. NAB Show Studio 1, right in the center of the Las Vegas Convention Center. Good Tuesday morning to you. I am Rich DeMuro, and we are streaming live right now at nabshow.com. We have a fantastic show planned for you this morning. We're going to have executives on hand from RCS Worldwide and Bexel, some live interviews with them, plus a look at the show floor and some of the startups on display. First, let's get started with some highlights from the past 24 hours.
As former FCC Chairman Mark Fowler noted in a recent op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, quote, "Broadcasting kept more than 8 million people safe and informed during Hurricane Sandy. Broadband can't do that." And if the Commission is really serious about competition, it will study how broadcasting can be a competitive check on cable and wireless industries. In its national broadcast plan, the FCC should also refocus itself on some of the primary goals of the Communications Act. Without broadcasting, who will carry out the public's interest mandates of diversity and localism, to say nothing of children's programming, political events, and observing decency standards of local communities?
But Letterman was very influential because, yes, they were going to look at what he had to offer first, probably, and give it a shot. But they were going to cancel it if it wasn't doing what it had to do.
And network TV in particular, being broad and broadcaster and broadcasting, that this is the kind of comedy that does reach the most people. Raymond did, Friends did, and now Big Bang Theory. Why is it seeming that the industry itself doesn't seem to respect it as much?
I don't know. I think the problem with the world is that everybody is so short-term goal-oriented. Just grab ratings now and grab them from the young people. That's what seems to be hot right now. And so they ignore the big picture, the longer view. Even when we were creating the show, we had a long-term view. I remember saying, yes, it's for CBS, but in the back of my mind, it's for TV Land, the Nick at Night. And here we are. Mm-hmm. But you can't get there unless you think long-term.
Clearly, in order to enjoy ultra-high-definition television, it all starts with the screen. It's this amazing screen with 8 million pixels, 4 times the resolution of HD TV that we've enjoyed for the last 15 years.
On the 4K production side, you see a lot of tremendous production tools that are being displayed here at NAB. We have a tremendous amount of 4K infrastructure that we use for those workflows.
The interest, if you ask consumers before they get a demo, the interest in Ultra HD is in the 30% range. After they get a demo, it's in the 70% range.
For Ubiquity, and we announced actually last week a couple of things, a strategic partnership with Akamai, bundling obviously their worldwide network with our managed services and tech solutions, as well as the announcement of AnyView Cloud.
We do take a lot of stuff to the games. I mean, we had over 2,000 people, probably 100 cameras, 300 production people. I think we had 500 people working in the U.S. in Stanford. But all of the competition coverage is coming from the OBS guys, which allows us to put more of our eggs in the basket of enhancing it for the U.S. audience. And it really is a simpatico kind of thing, because if we had to put those same efforts into the basic coverage, we would be doing basic coverage.
For us, it's important. They need to show a very even-keeled approach to the games and show an even story representing all the countries. But for us as rights holders, we want to tell the stories about our home country as well as the other stories, but it's about our athletes. For us, it's about Canadian athletes. A big Canadian hockey game happened during business hours in Canada in the morning, and we had astronomical numbers because it was a perfect storm. Everyone was at work, everyone wanted to watch it, so everyone was watching it on their phone, on their PC, on their tablet. So that was a big success for us.
Did he just say everyone's watching the game from their phone at work? Interesting. I know that happens at my job. All right, Sprocket is returning to NAB Show for a second year. This is a program that pairs up disruptive startup companies with established leaders in the media and entertainment world so they can learn from each other. NAB Show Live correspondent Rachel Kopchak has more.
These startup companies working with Sprocket are changing the way we create and consume content. This is a glimpse of what some of that change looks like.
Net2 TV provides free ad-supported television to your connected TV. It's what you want, what you think you're buying when you buy a connected TV. You can watch People TV or Cooking Light. It's free, it's there, it's just sit on your couch and enjoy television the way it was meant to be.
Discourse Analytics is a personalization and analytics company that develops profiles, individualized profiles on everybody in your audience base when broadcasters are broadcasting to tell them why their audience is connecting to their brands and their channels through their products so that the broadcaster can have two-way conversations at scale with context and relevance.
Sportcast is a free mobile app to capture, watch, and share the best moments at any sporting event. We're focused on amateur sports, and we're here this week at NAB to talk to other broadcasters and affiliates about using our content for their local coverage of local sporting events.
Wayne is a software that finds the right conversations on social media and allows you to get them into your workflow, put them on air or on your website at the right time. More than that, we identify the audience that's actually engaged with your content and give you the ability to segment them, find the leaders, find the followers, the influencers, re-engage them, and identify new market sets.
AudioWare is a brand new form of television network. It's interactive. Consumers want to be able to choose more and more of what they consume in terms of content. What AudioWare does is it makes that possible by first making it possible for people to listen using their mobile device of all these unmuted televisions wherever they might find them. Stadiums, airports, sports clubs, whatever. For businesses, it brings in new customers and keeps them there longer.
Maz was founded by myself. I'm a designer. I used to work at Apple, and my co-founder is from Adobe. And basically, we allow any media brand to become its own social network. And so your readers or viewers or whatever inside your app can share to social media and then see what each other is sharing. And for businesses, it's huge because you get real insight into the types of things that people like to share.
So Excitem is a real-time audience engagement platform designed for local stations to engage with their live viewers on air and through their social properties from one dashboard, and that engagement happens in real time. What makes Excitem so special is that it's a multi-platform system. We support a wide area of communications, from people calling, texting, using social media through Facebook and Twitter, and your website and mobile application. Now, what makes it so special is that it takes a minute to actually go on air from all these different mediums, and you have a wealth of data that's flowing in to the producer's newsroom in real time.
You can follow Sprocket on all social media platforms, and I will continue to bring you highlights from the Sprocket Pavilion throughout the NAB show.
Thank you, Rachel. Now we have our first guest with us here on NAB Show Live. He's from Bexel. Bexel is one of the top companies in the world for audio and video equipment rentals. In fact, they're a new partner with us here at the show. They are renting us the cameras that you are seeing us on right now. So they work. You guys are doing a good job. Tom Dickinson is their Chief Technology Officer. Thanks so much for joining us up here. From my neck of the woods, Burbank.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for making the drive to Vegas. Let's talk about first the services historically that Bexel has provided.
Sure, Bexel's been in the business over 30 years. We kind of started when television started, CNN, when CNN started, when Entertainment Tonight started. Our services currently are more solutions-based. We provide flight packs around the world for all the major sporting events. About any sporting event you see, we're involved in it. Whether it's the Final Four last night, whether it's the Olympics in Sochi, or the upcoming World Cup coming up in the summer. We also do a lot of reality shows in that world, Hell's Kitchen, some of the different shows you see on the reality side, and then pretty much anything in between there.
How has what you've done changed over the past 30 years?
You know, things are getting more software-based, so it's certainly a little challenge as you look at rental. It isn't just here's a box and that'll do your one application. It's now a box that has many applications involved in it, so how do you make sure the client knows how to operate it? The market is much more diverse. It used to be kind of set networks and very set programs that were doing it. Now it's web production, it's third screen, it's content everywhere, it's hundreds of cable channels. So it's a much more broader based, which means you have to create better price points Nice way of saying lower cost.
Sure.
When
that web
area.
production calls you and they go, "What? That's how much it is?"
Right.
Okay. Well,
So
we'll
much more diverse area to provide to it, and now trying to create a way that if you're doing content, how do you make sure that content can be distributed on so many different platforms?
And speaking of those different platforms, we're doing it right now. Web streaming is probably a huge growth area for you guys.
Absolutely.
You can't just rent some of the cameras. It's a whole package you need to kind of figure out with them. Tell me about the live streaming business.
Correct. That's where Active Show, as I'm really focusing on that, is it isn't a dry hire kind of business. You can't just give a person a box and go do your webcast tomorrow. So we have to develop how to become a full service in that, how to provide the way to get it on the web, how to provide the tools to make sure they have it. And that's our first step. Live stream is one of the companies we'll be working with much more to provide that service through their network. And try to adapt into that market. Right now we do a big fly pack that's for broadcast, that's just for web, but that's really kind of an overkill. So it's going to be moving ours into more of a service providing solution than just here's a bunch of equipment.
Well, how do you decide what equipment to invest in for your company? I imagine you're out there on the floor seeing, but there's always something new. And it has to really take hold before you just go and invest thousands of dollars into it. So how do you decide that?
Flip a coin, just kidding. No, there's a challenge of trying to make sure that you can make money at it. I mean, ultimately, I'm trying to make sure that it's a product that I can figure a way that we can make revenue at it. So it's a little bit, there's a business side to any of those decisions. I think the challenge, especially at this show, is there are some very specific long-term directions you can see we have to go to. But I also have an issue of needing gear for a show next week.
Is Ultra HD one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. Ultra HD. I mean, we're in the live sports area primarily as our business is doing that kind of market. So, and then we have PL, which we also have for our cinema initiative. But those two kind of contradict each other for what you're trying to accomplish. A PL lensing and a PL imager is not necessarily, I think, the best solution for a live sports spend. So a 2/3 inch imager, but that technology is just being discussed here. Where does that take us in that world? So how do we position ourselves for both those areas in the future while trying to service clients that need something next week?
Is anyone using 4K right now? Are you renting that?
Mm-hmm.
You are.
We do 4K. Well, we use 4K as a tool within an HD production for sports using HD extraction. So you use a 4K camera to shoot the show, and then you zoom in and the highlights for that. And we do that with the EVA stream catchers. We do it with our F55 Sony cameras, and we've done it with some of the 4A high-speed cameras. So that's certainly, it's been 4K, but in an HD environment. In the cinema side, we certainly are doing F55 and cameras in that area. Most of them, while they're 4K imager, are still ending up being for television. So it may end up being recorded in a format that's more of a TV.
Although I did just hear today, Netflix is now streaming House of Cards, the second season, in 4K.
Love that show.
It is a good show, and I know that Amazon is also shooting all of their original stuff in 4K as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take off. Of course, most people don't have those TVs just yet. Let's talk about some of the... Have you had any fun productions that you've been a part of that just are memorable?
Well,
all of them?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the Olympics and the bigger shows are always fun in a way that... Fun, probably not the right way, but they're exciting because they're such a big event. Those certainly enjoyable. I think our crew would say Sochi wasn't probably an adventure, more of an adventure than it was fun, but I luckily didn't have to go this year to Sochi. But those shows, I mean, doing all the great sporting events and seeing those last games and stuff is certainly an excitement to be there and see the energy that goes around those events.
There's a lot that goes into them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about NAB show. Do you like being here?
Oh, yeah.
What do you get out of this?
Several things. I mean, it's really networking, the ability to really talk to customers in a much more casual environment, to really kind of see what they're really doing, hearing what they're looking for, to try to align. I'm trying to build a picture of what should we be doing going forward, and I need all those little discussions for people to kind of connect them together. So number one is really being able to go see clients, see what's out there. Let's see what manufacturers are doing, kind of connecting all those dots together is probably number one. Two, of course, is trying to determine long-term roadmaps. Where is technology going to be in a 3-5 year time frame? And what are the kind of new buzz tricks and toys you see that you want to get to? And NAB is where you really can only find those small companies to really figure that out. It isn't something you can just go online and, oh, here's somebody.
Yeah, right.
So really it's about, to me, make sure to hit all the small booths and see what they're up to, because they may not be in the magazine tomorrow, they may not be a big write-up, but those are the little tools, little tricks you find at the show that are pretty exciting.
The discovery at a trade show like this is always the best part, because you stumble upon this company and you say, oh wow, I would have never found them if I didn't just do the work and walk around. Do you get to have some fun while you're in Vegas as well?
Yeah, I think I've been doing it long enough to try to temper that a little bit, but yeah, I make sure to get a few. There's enough evening events I can definitely hit if I want.
Tom Dickinson, CTO of Bexel, thanks so much for joining us today. I do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the show here. The NAB show has been happening in some incarnation for over 90 years now. Now, needless to say, things have changed a little bit since that first show in 1923 in New York City. We call it the evolution of NAB show. Here at NAB Show Live, we continue to examine the evolution of the broadcast industry. And joining me now is someone who's been to the show many times, Lori H. Schwartz of Storytech. Lori, thanks for joining me. Tell me how you think the show and the industry has evolved in the time you've been here.
Absolutely. Well, I think a lot of content creation right now is really about involving the consumer. That the consumer is now part of the storyteller's journey, of the content creator's journey. And so very clear on the show how the show is organized. I think the consumer is taking a much bigger role, and the way that we're talking about content generation, how we get content through the pipe, and ultimately how we're going to create that two-way experience, that's all really demonstrating that the consumer now plays a role in this ecosystem.
What do you make of the evolution of what you see here these days?
You know, when I was here maybe 18 years ago, you were just walked through the floor. It was a lot of local station stuff and all wires and technology, and even though you knew you had to have that stuff and to broadcast over cable and radio and all that, now for me it's all about storytelling. It's all about the tools of storytelling, and because technology evolves so quickly, you have online video producers that are able to really produce quality stuff, get inside the workflow, use the cloud. So it's evolved along with storytelling itself.
So I've been coming here for about a decade. I think one of the interesting things to me is I've really seen things go from, gee, isn't that cool, to everyone has it in their pocket. And while you're stuck in the middle of media, or when you're working through your everyday slog, it's hard to sort of see those trends. But to be able to step back for a week and come out here and look at things, you get a sense of how far things have come, but also that they never stop evolving, and you've got to continue to push and move forward and take that next thing from, gee, isn't it cool, to it's in everyone's pocket.
By the way, I did ask Jamie that $1 million question for us in the news industry, how to make that 5 o'clock newscast more relevant, and he said I'd have to hire him to get the answer to that one. By now, you've had a chance to check out the show floor with 35 football fields worth of stuff to see. Your feet are telling you no more, but the AV geek inside of you is saying, I want to see all of it. Let's check in with our intrepid team from Istrico Productions to see what they're finding out there.
Hey guys, I'm here with Joe from HD Radio. What's up, Joe?
Not much.
What's HD Radio doing here today?
Well, HD Radio has a big presence here at the show. We've got 6 cars out here in front, all factory installed with HD Radio, showing the best new technology in digital radio. We're actually selling a new car now every 4.5 seconds with HD Radio. Over the course of this show, we'll probably sell over 100,000 vehicles.
So right now, someone bought a car.
Right now, and now.
And right now.
It's really emerged as a standard, and consumers are loving it.
Will you have a dance party with me?
I will do my best.
Let's do it.
That's about as good as it gets.
I love it.
Thanks for tuning in to Hands On at NAB Show. We are back with our second episode, and yesterday on the floor, Monday, the exhibits opened. Over 90,000+ attendees filed in. It was a sea of humanity. It was insane. We almost got trampled, but we survived just so we could show you guys all the amazing technology being kicked out here today. From 4K capture, from 4K cameras, to distribution, to jibs, dollies, sliders, you name it. Drones, we're going to cover it all and get our hands on it and share it with you guys today.
This place is absolutely crazy this morning. Today we're hands-on, like touching everything. It's like going to a store, but they actually allow you to touch things. Your mom isn't here. This is South Hall. This place is huge. They got all the biggies here. Plus, tons of people that just bring new technologies from every end of the production spectrum. It's great.
I'm here with Eric from DJI, and Eric, what did you guys just release yesterday? What are you sharing with us?
We just released the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, which is an aerial imaging platform with an integrated stabilized camera.
When do we get to see something like this? Is it something that you guys can fly around?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we can do it right now. There it is.
It's pretty awesome.
Yep. So it's a quadcopter, features 4 propellers. You can see that camera on the bottom, which is fully stabilized. So what I'm going to do is fly it left and right like this, and you'll see the camera is not moving at all.
So when do I get to fly it?
You want to fly it right now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Now,
and if I was to lose it, like, it would come back, right? So it's like that high is cool? Yeah?
Where?
You know, I'm going to give this to you. I got to take this. It's great. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, I'll bring it back.
No, either whatever's more comfortable.
So I'm going to sign off because I'm going to place an order for one of these right now because this is pretty awesome. See you guys on the floor.
Drones are definitely a big part of the show this year, and as a TV news reporter, I would love the day when I can just walk around, do a stand-up, have that drone buzzing above me and following me as I walk. I know it's going to happen, but it's just neat to think about that. All right, let's welcome another guest to the stage here on NAB Show Live. This is Philippe Generale. He is the president and CEO of RCS Worldwide Radio. Basically, if you're listening to a radio station, their software's probably powering it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Great show.
10,000 stations around the world you power?
That's correct, yes. We've been at it for about 30 years now, so it takes a little bit of time, but eventually we got there.
So I'll tell you a quick story. The first time I ever did a segment for a radio station, I get in there on a Sunday afternoon, I start playing with the system, and I was just amazed at how much of these stations are now automated. And every single little stinger you hear and everything is built into this software. And you guys pretty much came up with that. Tell me what some of the functionality is of what you're doing.
Well, 30 years ago, we started with storing the commercial on a hard drive, which was the computer we were installing were probably less powerful than your iPhone today. But now we can store everything: music, commercial. We can schedule the music with G Selector. It's basically a professional way to build a playlist, and then we send that to the automation system that's going to play it in the studio. We can have a full crew. The DJ can be walking around the studio with their iPad and starting sound effects and been talking to each other, talking to the public, to the audience. We monitor what's going on from the outside, and we report that in Mediabase for the number of songs, in Media Managers for the number of spots. So we have a whole chain of product, software, and data collection, which is useful to the industry, we think.
And of course, many of us remember the days of pulling carts. No longer have to do that. How has your software improved the business of radio?
I think it's a subjective question. The professional and us like to think that we brought quality to the industry. It's important when you're making software to get the art out of your customers, because we work with people that are half scientists, half artists, creator of content, and we want to make sure that what they want to express is done in the most natural way. So that's what the music scheduling software does. G Selector is the system that's the #1 worldwide system used, and it's important that what people think, what program directors think, gets heard by the listener. The number of times the song plays, how often it plays, where it plays, and when it plays. And then the execution in the studio has to be flawless. If a DJ or a presenter wants to have a sound effect starts here or starts there, he doesn't have to browse through a list of things. Everything has to be available, and it's important that what we call the hotkeys, where you push a button, the sound comes out, makes it a very natural, very flowing show. So we try to get the art part into a science so that it sounds natural on the air.
It's so interesting because that's a real challenge for your company versus others that are just implementing technology. You actually have to blend it with someone who's sitting there saying, what I'm doing is an art form. I want this to come in here. I want this song to go here. I want that to happen. And it's not just making it automated. It's really creating that entire system that works for them.
You absolutely got that right. The last thing a listener wants is to know that there's a computer somewhere that's taking care of what he's listening to. He wants to connect with the audience, and especially today, the difference between radio and the playlist creators that you can see on the internet everywhere is that connection with the talent, with the on-air person. So you want to make it sound like it's just one simple guy that's just playing a couple of 45s for all I know, still like back in the old days. But back in the studio, of course, everything is totally digital when there is someone in the studio.
When there is someone still there. Can stations use your software to stream to the web?
Yes, of course, and we have stations that are streaming to the web using our software. We have stations that are creating a couple hundred channels out of our software. They schedule 100 channels with G-Selector, which is a system that it's the only music scheduling system that allows you to have hundreds of channels out of one database. So when you create an internet station, it's important that you have all the flavors that you want. A little bit more dance, a little bit more rock, a little bit more hip-hop, a little bit country, new country, old country, whatever style of music. So you can create the whole palette of channels, which really was impossible to do before because you had to manually do the logs one by one. Now the playlists are done, and you can do that in a snap, and then you send it to your automation system, which will play all those channels. You don't even need the sound card; it goes right to the stream and right to the internet. So I think what's important today is the number of channels that you want to create where you're on the internet. Because when you're a radio programmer, you create content, the possibilities are endless. You have no limit to the number of channels that you want to do. So you want to be able to have several creator of content so that you can do several times, several hundred channels.
What is RCS Worldwide showing off here at the show?
We have our new automation system, Zeta, version 3, which is a phenomenal automation system. Please stop by our booth to check it out. We have a big axis on mobile this year. You know that the world is going mobile. Desktop is out. That's what came out of every convention where we go, and people work with iPad, works with mobile phone, work with phablet, with devices that are mobile. The world is mobile, and we want our software to be mobile. So we have Zeta 2 Go, which is a companion to Zeta 3, which allows the DJ and the presenter to control the system on a tablet from anywhere in the world, really. In the studio, of course, so you don't have to be behind the console to start everything. But also the programming, Selector 2 Go. G-Selector is a system that can be programmed from anywhere, and it allows the PD to be responsive. If he wants to check out his schedule from home on a tablet, he can do that. And if Paul McCartney gets married tomorrow, another time, we'll be able to do a special about Paul McCartney on the station from his couch, really, using his mobile, his tablet, his iPad, or whatever he wants. So we have a big emphasis on mobile. And we have a variety of new features that make the system sound like it's not there, which is really the paradox.
The big challenge of your company, blend it in so you don't even know what's there, but it's super powerful behind the scenes.
You absolutely got that right.
Philippe Generali, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
The CEO of RCS Worldwide Radio. Some really neat stuff that you guys are doing to power all those stations out there. Thanks for being here on NAB Show Live. Okay, in case you haven't noticed, I'm sure your Twitter feed, your Facebook feed, your Instagram is just blown up with posts about NAB Show. A lot of people using that hashtag as well. We're going to go to CNTV correspondent Carrie Fernick to to get our social media update.
Hi, Rich. Thanks very much. I'm joined now by Sam Stanton with Red Button TV. We're talking about social from an exhibitor point of view. So the companies here are really using social to connect with customers and get their brands out there, aren't they?
We're seeing a lot of traffic right now from a lot of the big brands. We're seeing Akamai, DJI, Canon, Blackmagic. A lot of people are contributing a lot to the conversation right now.
And tell me a little bit about how they're doing that. What works and what doesn't? I know there are some pitfalls for this.
Well, you have to remember you don't turn this into an advertising channel, because the minute you do that, everyone will turn it off. So it should be more suited to more content marketing. So bring us some informative, interesting content that I'll keep tuning in and listening to you as a brand.
And I know it's also possible, one of the downsides really is that companies can kind of flood a Twitter feed, right? So let's talk a little bit about how you can avoid that.
So for this event, we're using Buzz Control, and what that does is it helps us moderate and filter all the content that is coming out. So if we see someone trying to be a little bit of a social pirate taking over the stream, we'll cut those people's posts down so that we're not oversaturating the audience with the same posts again and again, commercial after commercial.
Fantastic. All right, so watch for those tweets. And just a reminder, too, that you might want to be the next VIT, right? Sponsored by B&H. Tell us real quick about that.
Our VIT, our very important tweeter, will be announced later in the day. They will get a really cool gift from B&H Photo. You're designated a VIT by contributing great content, interesting content, having a huge following, or just generally being a good guy.
Sounds good. Sam, thanks for being with us. Rich, back to you.
Now, Sam does rock that awesome bow tie. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's not just any old bow tie. There's actually little Twitter birds on his bow tie, so he is the real deal there with Red Button TV. Okay, now let's take a look at what's ahead for NAB show today. There's a lot going on. 11:45 a.m., Falling Skies, a behind-the-scenes look at video effects for television. At 12:30, Steve Harvey will be inducted into the NAB Broadcasting Hall of Fame. Yahoo Tech's David Pogue will lead that one. At 2:30, a super session you can actually watch streaming online. Maybe you want to take a little break from everything. Just fire up your old computer there. The Next Frontier, online programming in the world of online video. At 4 p.m., another super session, World Without Rules. Is this the end of the open internet? Plus much more in store, as you can see. If you haven't downloaded the NAB Show app, definitely do that. There is a wealth of information there and on our website, nabshow.com. All right, guess what? That's going to do it for this edition of NAB Show Live. We are going to be back here with you at 4 p.m. Have a great day. See as much as you can. Enjoy it all. Until then, I'm Rich DeMuro.